examples of my portfolio work. I
Hmm.
wanted to like take things that I have in my drive and put them onto Upwork as examples of what I've done, and that wasn't acceptable because it had sensitive information.
Right.
So I had to like go through a process of cleansing the file and censoring it and like redacting things. And
Hmm.
then once that was done, put it up. And then after it did that, I was like, okay, now please like remember what this process that we just went through and write like an SOP file in the folder so that you can like remember how to do this in the future, so I don't have to like tell you all the things that need to be redacted. Is that like a good way of doing the SOPs that you were talking about in our last session?
Yes, Wyatt, you're getting it. Now you get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it's like once I finish the task that I think I'm going to need to do again, I just want to be like, okay, now remember everything that we just did and write yourself an instructions to do it again in the future without me.
Exactly. Now you get it. Every single thing
Okay.
you do on your computer, you can now have an AI do for you. That's the short version of it. So if you're repeating something over and over again, then write the process down step by step, analyze it, and update it until the point that the AI can just do it for you. That's the new way of working. Is figuring out what is the things we need to automate, taking the things that we identify as automatable, creating in-depth descriptions of what needs to happen, and then passing those to our AI so that it can just do them on our behalf and save us tons of time and do it consistently. That is the new way of doing things.
But in this case, instead of writing a description about what it was, I just like went through the process once using Claude to help me go through the process. And then after it was done, I was like, okay, that was good. Now I remember how to do it. So the next time you don't need me step by step.
Exactly. You're getting it. Yeah. It
And
can.
then you just save. You save that. Do you need to save that in a specific place, or you just say like save this as a standard operations procedure and put it in the project folder?
Yeah. So what you generally want to have is a database of your SOPs, your processes
Okay.
that are accessible by the AI somewhere. I'm not going to tell you where to store them. Like for example,
Okay.
I know MJ is a expert in Monday. You can use monday.com, you can use your Apple Notes, you can use Notion, doesn't matter. The more important thing is that the AI has access to it, can read it, and then can execute it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no
So like it doesn't have to be like one like central repository for all the SOPs. You've got one SOP in each project folder, or it doesn't matter so much about that.
Yeah, anywhere you want. With that said, my recommendation would be to make a central repository for your SOPs.
Okay.
Yeah, but with that said, don't over engineer it.
Okay.
Yeah, people have the tendency early on to over engineer things. But
Okay.
just the most important thing is that the AI can actually access the SOP, it can read it, and it can execute it. That's the most important
Okay.
part. There's a million ways. At the end of the day, there's only three different components to what the AI needs: business or personal context, right? The SOP itself, the in-depth step-by-step instruction, and the third very general category is data, right? So as long as it has the right data, has the right context, and has the steps that are ironed out, it should be able to do it on your behalf. I personally use Notion for SOPs. I really like it. It's been my go-to tool for the last 10 years. But it's not to say that Notion is the way. You can store them, and it's basically a folder full of different instructions that the AI can find and then can run for you. That's the short version.
Okay.
I've moved everything into Notion now as well, because I was so in between Google Drive and Notion and my own personal drive, so it's now created like a headquarter for me in Notion,
Nice.
where it's like it's in personal and then business, and it has, and I've told it to, for every information, every time we start a new chat, it should always go there to have remembrance and an idea of everything that we've basically talked about.
Boom. Exactly. So you're what's going to happen over time is that you're going to add new personal context, you'll add new business context, new project context, right? And I think the most important principle, or not the most important, but a principle I'm going to share with you that actually comes from the engineering world, it's called dry programming. Okay. In dry, DRY means don't repeat yourself. And in the context of what we're talking about with automation, it's don't repeat where your SOPs are stored. So don't have like a version over here in your project and then another one in Notion, then another one in Google Drive, right? And also don't repeat yourself in terms of the things you are doing every day. You're probably doing like 100 different repetitive tasks, and everyone is because we're in the habit of doing it. But now these agents can actually take that thing, whatever valuable task you're doing, and just do it for us, right? We don't need to repeat ourselves anymore. And so if you find yourself in constant repetition for the things that you are doing, that's a sign it's time to automate. And that's when you want to take the time to become self-conscious of the things you are repeating, right? Create a list, pass them to Claude, create a list of like, here are the things I want to stop repeating, and then figuring out the best way to automate it using the tools that we have taught you. You have the power, okay? And as of this week, Claude can now use your full computer. Remember that, right? It's not just the browser anymore. It's not just writing custom code. It's now can use your full computer and you can command it from your cell phone, right? So anytime you find yourself doing something that's repetitive, right? And that's a signal. It's time to figure out how we can automate it. Yeah, good questions. All right.
The full computer isn't available for PCs yet, is it? That was a Mac only thing, right?
When I read the documentation on Tuesday, it said Mac only. It might be different today.
I'll keep checking. I just wanted to make sure I remember it right.
Yeah. Keep checking. Yeah, Wyatt, bro, get a MacBook. What's up? Like.
I was just thinking about it today. Before I was like, maybe I should get a MacBook, and now I'm like, maybe I should get a Mac Mini.
Okay, Mac Minis are dope. Okay, by the way, just so you guys know, Apple just dropped their newest chip. It's the M5 chip processor last week, which means right now is the absolute best time to get a MacBook or upgrade a computer. Because all of the previous chips, the M1, 2, 3, 4, 5, by the way, just so you guys know, on my main computer, I use an M1. So I'm running everything I'm showing you guys on a machine from 2020. So even if you have like an M1 and M2, like you should be pretty good. But the M5s just dropped. They're super reasonably priced relative to the power that they have. And so if you're thinking about upgrading your computer, now is the best time to do it. Like I know Marcy just upgraded, Georgia upgraded. Now would be the time to look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you get anything that's like an M2 and above, you'll be a happy camper. But the M5s, like they're crazy. They're crazy powerful. So I on my main computer where I do everything. The other thing is I'm deliberately not upgrading it because I want to be with an everyman computer, which is a 2020 Mac. Right? But these M5 chips are very, very powerful. They're really built with AI in mind. And so if you were considering getting one, like really look into it because now is the time to buy.
Okay.
All right. Anything else popping up, y'all? Anything else that's present? My God, if you guys are feeling complete, there's nobody that's running into anything. Amazing. Okay, so I guess that's all for today. So just so you guys know, over the course of today, I've actually updated the affiliate portal. And so you guys now have affiliate links. Somebody asked for specific links instead of codes to share with friends. So if you guys share that with anybody and they sign up, we'll send you $100 as a thank you because we love it when we share. I'm also going to be uploading videos about SOPs with Claude, about scheduled tasks with Claudes, about computer use, and I think there's one more, so that will be uploaded into the portal. And then I'm also going to be working on the portal this next week to make it much easier for you guys to follow along chronologically. I know up until this point I've been doing like individual lessons, but I want to make it so that you guys feel confident that even if you can't make the live calls, you are still staying up to date. So I really appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the love. Share your wins in the chat. And then for those in Lisbon, we're also doing another workshop tomorrow, and we'll be announcing the dates pretty soon this week. Also, just so you guys know, next week is Easter week. I know a lot of people have communicated they're going to be going away. And so for next week, just take some time for yourself. Let this new context integrate. And just want to wish you guys a happy weekend. And I will see you on Tuesday. Cool. Yeah.
I have a question.
You have a good one.
All right, you guys do have questions. All right, I'll stick around. Go ahead.
I just have a question. I just wanted to know what we're going to be doing because I don't think I can make it to the section because I have 2 lectures at that time.
Cool. So everything we do, my promise to you guys is that I will make a video of the specific skill. Okay, by the way, just so you guys know, the reason I don't just take the recordings and upload them is that they're quite messy. So you have to imagine, like, obviously we're in the group. There's questions being asked. There's people going ding, ding, dong, dong, and all this stuff. And so I usually like to make them specifically focusing on the skill, right? And also the reason why there's a delay is that, there's ducks quacking and stuff. And so it can be very distracting for people who are not live. And also, you guys got to understand, when I'm doing these lives, I'm like, there's a lot going on, right? Like, I've got Discord, I have you guys. And so the reason why there's delay is that I really want to, I want to actually take time to understand how you guys use it. You're always giving me feedback about like things that are happening. 2, when I learn this stuff, I'm sharing it with you right away. So I haven't had time to play with it. And so I always take time after the sessions to record the skills. By the way, I also have to export them as 4K. I have to write the tutorials. So if you guys are like, I missed the thing and why isn't it up? It's because these are bleeding edge things. I need to have some playtime with them. I have to create them. I have to write the tutorials with commands that you can copy easily into Terminal. And that's why there's a week delay. So if you come live, you'll get the information right away. But then please just give me a week to catch up. I'm dedicating time to this every day. So it's a process. Okay? Yeah. So even if you can't make it, don't worry. You won't be left behind. I also got some good feedback when it comes to putting dates on the videos and making it more chronologically friendly. I think I'm going to make a Discord channel, which is only announcements and updates. And that way, every time something's added to the portal, it'll just be posted to that channel. So then you can see exactly what new stuff is in there. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
One more question, sorry.
Yeah, good.
I went ahead and did what you recommended for the team and asked to set up a Slack channel. Basically, they really liked that. I feel like so many people feel so overwhelmed and like don't even know where to start with all of the AI, and also like it's interesting for designers versus copywriters. Like everyone can use different tools, right?
Mhm.
What would you recommend? Because obviously I'm now like not advanced, but I know more than maybe the first person who has just gone into Claude. So I'm just thinking like, what would you recommend as the first like tool or first 2 tools to recommend to the company? I've shared now like Claude, that you obviously should download Claude and what it's been really useful for me. And also I thought Stitch was really interesting and great and user-friendly for everyone. Is there anything else that you would recommend that I would share, not to overwhelm immediately, but...
So can you give me more context about what the input for the company is and what the output is? Like what's the services, and then what do you guys ultimately providing?
It's a supplements company for women's hormones.
Okay, so I know exactly what you guys are doing. I did that. Okay. How big is the team?
Well, in that chat, there's about 30 people, but roughly, I think 50 people.
Okay, so I know the exact breakdown of what the company probably looks like because I was CTO of a superfood company for a couple years in the women's space, and we had about 150 people. Um, Trying to think of the best starting point. Okay, so when it comes to corporate AI training, I've done quite a few of these, and the weird part is the concerns and the things that leadership want are going to be different than what the concerns and the needs of the team are going to want. And depending on the section of the company, the tools that are relevant for them are going to be specific to that specific pillar of the company. Okay? So normally, I'm speaking very generally here. I'm not talking about your company, I'm talking about generally. Normally, leadership wants to know about automation, right? They want to know about, how can we increase margin, increase profit, cut headcount. Then at the employee level, it's like, I want to be more efficient. And then depending on which pillar of the company you are in, the tools they're going to be interested in and the automations they're going to be interested in are going to be entirely unique to them. Okay? So I think but with that said, I think the best way now that you have leadership buy-in, right? What I would recommend doing is just focusing on your specific pillar in the company. Okay? Because oftentimes what will happen is once somebody figures something out, like automating design or maybe automating like a product page, right? Like those renders, and they share that inside of like safely within their team and share it in the company, people will be like, wait, I need to do that for my slide deck for the enterprise wholesale side of the company, right? And so they might actually buy in. So my recommendation would be, think at the level that you are at and think within the sector of the company that you are playing because you are an expert in that specific part of your business. You know the team's flow, you are very in tune with their needs. And so I would be sharing things based on what makes your life easier and what makes your team's life easier. And once you do that and have success with it, share it company-wide and let the other pillars of the company get buy-in and get curious and ask how they can apply it to their part of the company. It's sort of like an inside-out approach. Now that you have consent and the thumbs up from the business, a couple cool things are going to happen. You're going to be seen as an AI lead, somebody who's a leader in the company, kind of adopting these things. And so I would just be sharing all the little things you are doing to make your life easier and let the other people become curious and let them like adopt the things that are useful for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the goal would.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've done a lot of trainings for a lot of different companies. Different shapes of AI of companies adopt better to AI than other shapes. Startups, small teams of 5, crush because they're usually a bunch of sweaty young men in a room who smell terrible and they're just like trying to get shit done, right? But if you have a bigger company, like you're talking about the 50, the way I see companies, I think they move a Fibonacci. So Fibonacci is an algorithm that the next number in the sequence is the sum of the previous 2 numbers. And so it goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. And I think in companies, I feel that every level, like every time you go up a step in the sequence, it's a different shape of company. So you're at kind of the 55 level. That's the step in Fibonacci. And you have to approach it differently than you would a team of 3 versus 5 versus 8, right? And within that size of company, you're at the level where not everybody really knows everybody, and there's not really so much it's hard to do things top down at that level. And so with AI specifically, you want to have consent and buy-in from the top level, but begin innovating and inspiring bottom up, right? So if you use Claude to schedule a task that you're doing repetitively, share that. And the way I normally recommend doing it, by the way, is I would create a screen recording with your face, make sure your face is on it, right? And just say, I set this thing, and this is what it does. And if anybody else is interested in learning how to do it, here's exactly how I set it up, right? And you can do it from you just demonstrating it. Try to a couple more tips. Okay, in the video. By the way, Loom is a great tool for this. You can also use the one that I like is called Screen.
I use Loom for everything.
Yeah, great.
So yeah.
So make a Loom, start with the problem, right? Just state it quick. It's like, hi guys, it's Josepha from design, and I figured out how I can automate checking my Slack messages every day to understand what designs I need to update, right? And so I'm gonna show you exactly how it works right now. And so if you go, you can see that here I have the message of the output, right? And the way I set it up is click in, right? Show them the SOP that you wrote, and then show them how it's set up. Try to make it less than 5 minutes. Like make it like a soundbite that people can adapt, and just post it. And in the message, put a description in there so people know why they should click in and watch it, right? It should start a thread. I'm assuming you guys are a Slack company. It should start a thread about like, oh, like how did you do that? Can I use it for this? Can I use it for that? And the answer to most of those questions is probably yes. And just every time you figure out an automation that works for you, share it openly, and a couple things will happen. You'll be seen as an AI lead in the company, and it's also going to get buy-in and curiosity from other people to start doing things themselves. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but I've seen this happen. Also, just so you know, some people are not going to like what you're doing. A lot of people do not like the fact that there's a lot of things that come up. There's fear, there's uncertainty, there's things that will come up through this process, right? And energetically, there might be some people who are turned off by it. That's okay. Unfortunately, it's not up to you. It's not up to me. It's not up to any of us, whether or not AI is going to be doing things. And so just also be energetically prepared for that. And just so you know, it's okay. And ultimately, you will win people over, you know? There's a lot of really beautiful stories, not beautiful, but stories about adoption of the internet inside of old companies, especially in ads. You know, like the stories like, we don't use the internet, we're human, you know, and everyone ended up adopting it. Just know we're kind of in this phase of like, we're kind of past the early adopter phase into the early majority adopters, right? And so you might have some people on that bell curve who are kind of on the back end of that, who might not like what you're doing, but they will eventually use it too. Okay, so keep state the problem, show how you've improved it, and then make it short and just throw it into the Slack message and see what happens. Okay, yeah. And then if it gets to the point where you guys want to do training, you know, hit your boy up. Yeah. I mean,
You had a in the session yesterday.
Sorry?
You had a friend of mine, Edgar.
Edgar. Yeah, she's great. Yeah. They didn't turn on the cameras. Was the male or female?
Male.
Yeah, yesterday's session, I don't think we got.
He's very interested.
Is he joining? We didn't get any. I don't think so. I don't think we got. Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I guess my question is, what's the alternative? I don't like genuinely like. What is the alternative? I don't know. Like just not doing anything. Like I don't. Like if you're not learning these things and adopting them in your life, like what do you think is going to happen? Like,
yeah, I mean, for the people who just haven't understood, I guess, how powerful it is, it's still like so hard to grasp and to like wrap your head around what this will do and how powerful and how much it will take off.
Yeah, I think there's a willful suspension of disbelief or whatever. Like people don't want to confront or consider how much this is going to affect their job and the utility of what they do and the value of what they do. So at this stage, maybe some people are still just like sticking their head in the sand and being like, it's not as good as a human. So I don't know. I don't know, because I've been trying to convince a number of my friends to join these sessions, and I feel like they just don't understand like how powerful this is, and it's hard to learn new things, and they've been doing things their own way for a while,
Yeah.
and so it's easier to just keep doing it like that.
I think a lot of
And I feel like they're making a mistake, but I don't know how to like change their mind.
I think they just think it's like a little bit different to ChatGPT maybe, and they'll just learn how to integrate it into their life. I don't know. I feel like it's like simplified in the mind.
Yeah. I'm genuinely terrified for the people who are not paying attention. Like I really do feel for the people who begin the process and then they give up and they say it's not for me. And, I just hope that they have their finances in order. They don't have any big debts that they need to pay off, because I don't see a world in a couple of years where most people are doing any digital work anymore. I don't see an alternative. Yeah.
I guess like the hopeful, like if you're like my peers who I'm talking to, they've been working for 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Some of them a bit more, and maybe for them they just think like, look, by the time this tool, like I'm too senior and experienced to get replaced, and the tools will develop, and I won't have to pay attention because they'll just develop in a way that's easy for me to use them. And maybe like the more junior people will get replaced, and they'll have to learn to use these tools and leverage them. I don't know. I'm trying to understand it, Like maybe you just think that the tools, yes, it changes things, but it'll just be like a really user-friendly and easy tool for me to use, so I don't need to like pay attention to the cutting edge right now.
I think you can have this mentality with like 65, but I think anything underneath, you should still, even if you have like 20 years of experience, you should still, it's going to change so much, and you should understand how and why and what is changing, because otherwise you will be left behind.
Yeah. There's a very real, because the people who really know how to use this stuff, they're very, very, very good with it. Like, I'm seeing people who are just building entire empires, and basically anything that can be done digitally is going down and becoming just a skill. It's becoming a skill you can plug into an AI. You can write it one time, and once the skill is established, that means a billion people can use it. And so if you're not on the side of actually being able to identify these things and apply them, I'm seeing and by the way, I think this process is beginning today. Like Q2, I think is when you're going to see this, the real hit to the job market with AI. Yeah, because I have a lot of friends. Actually, a couple of very close family members, they have AI agencies, and they have contracts. I'm not going to name names, with some very big companies, and every major corporation is in a testing phase right now with AI and seeing what it can do. They've been in that phase for the last year. Now it's been proven. And so I think the strategies, I think you're going to see people kind of watch what other companies do, but there's going to be like a huge wave of layoffs that are coming up. It's an unfortunate truth. And if you haven't represented within your company, you're somebody who is on the bleeding edge and is capable of keeping up the pace and applying these systems, I think you're going to be in a really bad spot.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the one question is, what is the cost of like additional tokens versus the cost of a human employee? Maybe there's some like parity there, but.
I mean, I know the cost of myself, which is a senior software engineer, versus the cost of Claude Pro Max. It's about The cost for me on the job market with my CTO experience, I would put it at 4 to 600K plus equity. But the truth is that if you just have one person who knows how to use Claude well enough, you don't need me anymore. That's the truth of it. You know, like and so I think you could probably replace me as a CTO with AI for probably 2,400 to $5,000 a year. And you know, the other thing you got to keep in mind is that these companies, they started with software first, right? We as software engineers, we cannibalize ourselves using AI. And now that we have solved software engineering, these labs are not going to shut down. They're going to come for every other part of every economically valuable task that they possibly can. And it's not only going to be restricted to the digital space, because we're coming online with robots. There's going to be humanoids that can be powered by AI, that can go and do things. Like the world is not going the other direction. And if you're not paying attention to this stuff and not being on the bleeding edge and know how to command these agents in a way that's effective and innovative, you're going to be in a bad spot. And the process and the transition that the species and the businesses and the world is going through, it's starting now. Like these things have went through the test, they've went through the ringer, they're out of the alpha phase, and now it's demonstrating what's possible. And you got to gear up, you got to prepare yourself for this stuff, because it's coming fast. It's slowly, and then it's all at once. And my fear is that we're not ready for it yet. We got to prepare. I don't like being a doomsdayer, but like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think like I said, I think before, like I go back and forth, like I get like really excited because I feel like I can do anything and there's all this opportunity, but then I get scared because I'm like, oh my god, the machines are just going to replace me and I won't be able to do anything unless you're like one of these select feudal lords, you know, that happens to own a bunch of it and have positioned themselves well when the change occurred.
You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong.
But it's like even right now, like I wanted to start this company that provided AI infrastructure to structured credit funds, and now it's like Workcore has 100 job openings for people to be like quote unquote tutors to train models, financial experts on how to do this, and then Elon Musk XAI they're like paying, I don't know, the same thing, right? And all of these big companies are now obviously moving into that space. And so it's like, well, how am I ever going to compete with them? I might as well just go out and interview and like get a job working for them, but then I'm going to be an employee for X amount of time as a tutor until the fucking model already knows everything I have to teach it, and then I'm high and dry, right?
Yeah, I think the old way of doing things, the old economic of the old world, is going to collapse in the face of AI. And we're going to go through an awkward phase where we rediscover that maybe paying people by the hour or by the month, you know, having a system that's driven this way doesn't make sense once we don't need as many people. You know?
Right. So then we move towards like a universal basic income model, but I think the people who are in charge of deciding what the UBI level is are not necessarily going to be incentivized to like make it a very high level, right? So that's why I say like more heading towards like a feudal Middle Ages type setup with like serfs and lords.
Well, I think we're going to go through an awkward phase as a species. Once these transitions happen, there's going to be a necessary collapse and a break, right? It's like sometimes to fix, when there's a problem in your body, sometimes the way to fix it is actually to break a bone so that you can actually like repair it better. I think that's what's going to happen to a lot of systems at a global level. And AI is going to be the catalyst and the force function for that change in a lot of places. And it's just imperative that, you know, you prep yourself for this stuff. Don't take on too much debt, right? Be mindful of what you are putting your attention on, and be one of the people that can apply these systems effectively, and you should be good, right? And if you're not being proactive, you're going to find yourself in a tough spot. It doesn't matter what the job function is anymore. If you're not being proactive and learning the stuff and adopting it and being seen as a leader, is somebody who can like effectively command agents, you're gonna have a tough future. That's the truth of the situation that we're in, and the level that I'm seeing this stuff come to.
I guess that reminds me, I think that's like applicable at like the individual level as well as the corporate or national level, right? Like companies are going to be less attractive if they're not like leading with AI. I think that's what you said before.
If you are in a system that doesn't let you apply AI, you gotta question the system that you're part of. You got to be on an A team nowadays who's doing this stuff at the highest level, or you're going to be in a tough spot. It's not to say that, if my company's not AI driven fully, like, but what I'm saying is, even with what Josepha, what you did, and like starting that Slack channel, and like just share little things that you're doing, right? And the other interesting thing, the little things, they stack, right? Even like automating the sending of like meeting notes after the meeting can go a long way. But then if it's like the meeting notes into the Figma to like design mockups, right? That's another thing that Claude, like just scheduled tasks, can do. The little things will stack over time. And if you're somebody that can demonstrate in the future, I built out these automations, right? Here's how I did it. And if you're someone who can demonstrate, hey, by the way, the AIs are tracking this. Here's how many tokens I've spent in the last 6 months. That's going to be the thing at the top of the resume. Your total token spend is probably the most important thing for your resume in 2026. How hard are you pushing these AIs in order to apply computational power to accomplish tasks? If you just gave me a room of 1,000 people, I don't even need resume. If I could just see the number of tokens they spent in the last year, I'm going to hire the person with the highest number. Period. I don't even care if I like them. I don't even care if they speak English. Right? If you have more tokens spent, you're more valuable in 2026. That's the truth of the matter. Yeah, it's about to be a weird world, but I genuinely feel that you're in the right place if you're sitting on this Discord call on a Tuesday evening or Thursday evening in Portugal. It's beautiful outside. We're all inside.
It's like staring at the beach. I called Joseph. I'm like, should I skip class today and go surf? Like, no, I gotta come home and listen to this. I don't want to miss it.
Yeah, I know. It's the funniest thing because like this is the biggest objection I get from people. They're like, it's twice a week. Oh no, I'm like, yeah, because I'm making myself available to help you guys. Like, why is that?
I would happily do it every day, to be honest.
Yeah, we're looking for spaces. Yeah, we're looking for spaces. We're gonna hopefully be able to make a hub, and hopefully we're making enough income where we can pay 3, 4, 5K a month for a really nice space with some sunlight. So if you guys know anything, let me know, because we're actively looking. I think Lisbon needs it. I think this. If we can turn Lisbon into an AI hub, I think it's going to be good for our future.
Yeah.
Even right now, I'm looking outside. I see a bunch of people with like beers in their hands, looking at the sunset. And I'm like, oh damn.
I mean, also, I'll just say, one of the things I'm really grateful about this like group for is that Lisbon, I think, people, social scene, in my opinion, lacks ambition. Just maybe it's my friends in particular, but I feel like a lot of the people I'm friends with and hang out are like here to have fun, and so it's nice to be connected to a group of people who are trying to build things.
Aho, brother.
Which I get from this group.
Aho, like this is a fire group, and it's growing too. Like it's we now have like an outpost, and we have Lisbon. We have an outpost in London now. The California group is growing. So it's like it's spreading. I think that the growth is going to be organic, and let's just get some dope people in, and like also like help each other out. Like you guys run into stuff, like use the Discord chat. Maybe I need to make new channels. Like I think I want to make one for like wins, like and stuff you figured out. I think that would be nice. I want to make one for updates, support, and announcements, so you guys have like the latest stuff. But it's really anything I can do to help facilitate your growth. I'm here to be in service to you guys and ensure you're future-proof.
Nick,
Mm-hmm.
this is Jackie.
Yeah, what's up, Jack?
Just talking about how are you?
I'm good.
Sorry, I had disconnected because I've not been really on Discord, so I'm kind of confused how it works. But I guess
You figured it out.
I had one or two questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, just about the onboarding. Onboarding. Is it something that you might be able to help? Because I don't see all the channels on the Discord.
You
I
don't.
don't see I only see welcome and rules and the voice channel.
Oh, you don't see
So
you don't see campus chat?
no, no. So I mean, I'm on other Discord servers, so I don't know if because I can send you a text message.
No, I
But I
got
didn't
it.
know
I
if
got
there
it.
was like a WhatsApp group
I got you. You're in.
because I'm not on the WhatsApp group.
Um,
Oh, now I see.
yeah,
Okay.
sorry about that.
It's
Yes.
just this one campus chat,
Yep.
or
For
are
now.
there?
For now. We're gonna add other ones, but that's the only one that you need. Okay?
Okay, and you said also a WhatsApp group. Is there a WhatsApp group for this
No.
group?
No, we use Discord. The reason we have the one for the skill shop and for the local community, but the reason we use Discord is that AI can't read WhatsApps, and Discord just has a lot of features that make my life way easier. And also, WhatsApp is very noisy, you know. So yeah, we'll probably shut down the WhatsApp group at some point. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to know if I was or if I was missing something, and then I mean not for today, but then if you have a chance, you were talking on the workshop about like the book publishing and what you were doing.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a bit more about it.
Yeah, so why don't I can share it with you, but I'm gonna use the restroom real quick if that's okay. Okay, 1 sec. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Thanks.
Hey Nick, I'm gonna drop off, but I'll see you next time.
Okay, now you have my full attention.
I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
How many camera angles do you have? That's dope. Do you have a multi-camera setup?
I have this camera because I'm teaching online, but I have like more than one screen, so I think I have other cameras and I didn't really know which way.
I know. I actually have a couple of screens I need to set up. So yeah. Basically, I'm writing a book, and it's about my observations around the mindset shift that we have to go through as a species to appropriately adopt AI. And so it's kind of like I'm writing it in such a way where it's built for people, but I'm trying to write the laws in a way that are timeless. And so it's kind of hard because I think there's like certain ways, like I could write a book like right now about like, here's the 22 things you need to know right now and adopt to handle this transition. But I'm focusing the content on a broader range, and I'm really feeling into like timeless principles that were probably true 100 years ago, and I genuinely feel would be true 100 years from now, as a kind of timestamp of some things that we need to shift in the species in order to properly adopt this technology. And so yeah, I've been putting a lot of work into it, and I've been giving it a lot of thought. I've obviously been working with AI on it, but not to write the book, but more so just to establish the laws. A lot of it's really highly inspired by Robert Greene's book, Laws of Power, Mastery, and things like that. And I think I'm going to make it a small book too. And I'm thinking like it'll be like 7 laws. And I'm going to start probably out with a newsletter. where I'm like writing there and getting feedback and whatever. And then eventually I'm going to turn it into a fully published book that you can purchase.
But you were not putting it on like AI just for it to write it down?
No.
Or
No.
okay.
No, I'd actually, I think this is actually worth a video. I don't feel books should be written by AI. And let me explain why. I feel that if you're going to ask somebody to invest, I own over 300 books. If you're going to ask somebody to invest that amount of time into consuming something, you should put at least that much effort into actually creating it. And I think that this actually could be one of the laws. Now that I think about it, right? A good principle is like even when it comes to cooking dinner, right? If it took an hour to cook the dinner, I believe that the dinner time around the food should be at least an hour long. I think that's just a good rule. And so I've already probably put in like 15 hours into the book. And so, I obviously could have just written a super prompt, let it run, published it. But I think if I'm going to ask somebody to invest not only the time into consuming the content, but also to apply it to their lives and go through the mental shifts that are required, I think I should put at least as much time into it myself if I'm going to ask that of somebody. That's the way I see it, at least.
Because I heard this story about this woman. She wrote, I think it was fiction. So we were talking about non-fiction, but I think it was fiction.
Yeah, it was fiction.
And she wrote with AI, and she made a bunch of money just from like these AI books that she got from, different. And nobody knew until she said she wrote it with AI. So, and if she sold it on Amazon, I mean, I'm not sure if they're kind of screening it or not.
So when it comes to screening AI copy, it's pretty much impossible to do. It really comes down to the individual. Like when you're reading something written by AI, right? Like you probably smelled it on an Instagram caption or an email. It probably turned you off. And so all of these technologies have a certain smell to them. But I think it's like copy and like copy strategy, like words and how you use it. It's different strokes for different folks, like business strategy. For some things you don't need to put as much intentionality into it, right? And therefore the AI can just write it, ship it, like versus like the thing that I want to create. I really want it to come from a center place, and also the thing is about books, there's different types of books, right? You can have, I don't know, curly hair for dummies, right? Which might actually be okay to be written by AI, right? Or I know a lot of people are using AI to write children's books, which actually I think is a fantastic use case, right? Enthralling, it's hard to take on the perspective of a child, right? And so AI can actually do that quite well. I actually don't think that's a bad use case, but I think first of all, anything written before 2022, I believe is going to have more value than things written after 2022 because of AI, right? Anything created before 2022 is going to have a certain nostalgia to it and a certain like this wasn't written with AI-ness to it. So I think it just depends on the strategy. I'm not saying don't use AI for copy. I would say the opposite. Use the hell out of it, but there are certain things that, depending on what place they're coming from, that should be human created, human crafted. And definitely my book is one of them. Like that's written by me. It's my words. And I'll probably put that in the first chapter. This was like, I don't know, this was ideated with Claude, but written by Nick Sarafa, and put that stamp on it.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because I think the book publishing arena, it's going to change, or it's changing. But then it's going to be interesting, like who's making money out of it, if they are using AI or not. Okay. And then you were mentioning something else, or I had here the note, because of the, in this case, in Cape Verde, the training on AI or other countries, because you mentioned you were doing something about that, which is AI for, I would say, third world countries, but some something like that. You were doing some projects on that.
Yeah, so basically, I have friends that have charities, and they obviously can't afford $1,000 a quarter program, and so we do these online trainings. I've done a couple of them now, where I will make them specifically for charities, right? So some things you have to keep in mind when you're dealing with people in Africa specifically, their hardware is not as good as ours, right? They might only have like a cell phone. They don't have a MacBook with an M whatever processor. And so every once in a while, I'll host one of those when I'm asked and I feel the calling to do it, and I'll just make it private for that specific group. I would like to do more of it, but we're just getting started. We have to build up the foundation first. Yeah, my hope is that over time we make a lot more resources available to a lot more people. We shouldn't leave them behind. And it is quite interesting though, because I've done a couple of these now, and people are coming with like PC computers from 2013, right? They have like they have like Intel like i3, and so you have to. The other thing is the language barrier. And so the trainings are normally much slower, right? There's a lot more like sort of intentionality. And so, yeah, I would like to do more of that. And I think it's going to be critically important to bring them along with us on this ride. But the biggest restriction is one, hardware, two, internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering that because I was in Cape Verde 2 weeks ago and I did a training for free just for them,
Nice.
and that was one of the issues. Like this was booked overnight. It was on Wednesday afternoon and I was there like Thursday morning. I was on holidays, but I was just like, I'm gonna do like a 1.5 hour workshop.
Nice.
And the thing is that like 21 people showed up,
Yeah.
but they only had, cell phones.
Yeah.
And one of the things was, how are you going to explain a couple of things just with the cell phones, because there are some limitations to it. So that's why I was wondering, how we were doing it, because it's not the same thing if you don't have a computer and what you are saying, the model, everything, then it's hard to kind of explain.
Well, so what you have to do is you have to understand the context of what you are teaching and who you are teaching. So normally I will send out a questionnaire asking for information about internet access as well as what computers they have. Normally I'm working with, by the way, because of the world I'm in, it's normally like somebody who is a big donor or somebody who owns the charity who's in the Western world. And so I usually ask them like a series of questions specifically around the hardware they have, the internet connection they have, and also, are they using AI yet? If so, what are they using? And then what they want to use it for. Those four things should give you enough information to appropriately apply the training. It's the same questions we ask anybody who you're teaching. But the problem is like, I can't enforce that they have MacBooks. It's not going to happen. With that said, the crazy thing is Apple just launched a new computer. It's called the MacBook Neo. It's a new laptop, and for people in those countries, and I'm not saying it works for every country, but it's $500, and you have a Mac operating system. So they're finally releasing something that's more affordable. It's not at the level, definitely not the level that the countries we're talking about can afford yet. But I think they already are moving into the world of disrupting the entry level computer market. And my hope is that Apple continues doing that. And so that way I don't need to teach Windows anymore because it sucks.
I have the same problem. If I have a Windows, or I don't feel like I can work because, my brain kind of erased that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to practice on today was just to understand, how to access everything. So I need to take a look, and then, I'm sure I'll have more questions next week.
Yeah. Do you want me to show you around?
Yeah. Just let me ask you something else. You have the Mac Mini. So in order for me to have things running, it's better to have that Mac Mini, right?
So you don't need a Mac Mini to do this, but the advantages of having a Mac Mini are the fact that basically you can have like a computer running and you can leave it running all the time, which is like a pretty huge advantage. And so you absolutely don't need it, but it can be helpful, if that makes sense. Yeah. Can you see?
Because my computer, I can see the Discord for now. Because my computer, I think it's, I mean, it's not that old, but once I installed like all those things, when is this from? You know, the Claude and all. So this is an Apple M1. It's from 2020, and it seems it's really, really slow now.
It's an M1.
Maybe
So I actually have an M1. So if you have an M1, you're probably good. Just so you know. My daily driver. Sorry.
It is 8 gigabytes, and I think I might have to clean it a bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to show you around the portal real quick. So if you go to lightschool.com and log in, it's going to send you a code use the same email that you used to sign up. So once you're in here, you can get into the Discord community, right? You have a link here. You can also add the calendar so that you know the times.
I got that part.
Good.
Yeah, I got that part yesterday, and I added all that.
Yeah, so we also have refer codes. And so if any of your friends join an online, it automatically applies the code when they check out. And then if any of your friends purchase and join Builders, we'll send you €100 just as a thank you. And then you can put your payout details down here. And so this is, we'll send it to you via PayPal for the Americans or Revolut. But we're probably like 3 weeks away from the first payout, so we'll make that easy. And then if you go into the portal, you actually have access to all these different lectures. And so this is like an overview of Light School, how to get around. You figure that out, right? Overview of the Claude ecosystem, right, that we're actually teaching as a refresher. And then below that, you have all of these different skills. So how to log in, log out of Claude, how to check your usage. I also have like commands that you can copy. And so some of them have videos to go with them. And then others are just text files. How to use plan mode, how to install a plugin, how memory works, how to skip permissions. We were talking about this today, right? Claude dangerously skip permissions. And so this is like a do-it-yourself, like top to bottom thing. And I also I have one about how to clean up your computer. So this might be useful for what you are doing. And so this is like every time I teach a skill, I put it into the portal so you guys always have up-to-date tutorials. And when you get to the bottom, these get to the more advanced ones, right? So if you want to use Agentic Browser, I have a video about that, how to install it. But every time I teach a skill during the workshop, I always upload it into the portal. So you guys are never more than 1 week behind. Also, just so you know, you can also search the portal. And so let's suppose you wanted to do the browser thing. You can search it, and then it will actually bring up the right lesson for you. Okay? Yeah. So, and I'm improving this every week. We're still at the beginning, so, please dismiss our sawdust as we're figuring out everything. It's all coded with Claude, the whole platform and website and everything. And so, if you have any feedback, just pop it in. And next week, I'm going to be running some updates. I'm going to I'm just making it better week over week while the group is still small.
That's the portal you created to exchange from the Kajabi system, right?
Yep. I coded the whole thing myself. The whole thing. Huh?
The videos are outside, like on YouTube and everything, and then you put the link, Or
Yeah.
most of you use it there as well?
So some videos I post publicly, and then there's a lot more videos that are private for the group. It just depends on the skill that's being taught. And yeah, I'm figuring out what the best flow is. But the tutorials themselves, those are not public. Those are just for the group, like with all the copy paste.
I'm just wondering because I have that problem that I am using New Zenler, so I'm paying for something that I'm not really using a lot. And if I put everything on WordPress, it's going to be too much. So I'm trying to figure out if it's too hard just to build something for people to access.
What do you want to do?
I want to have the courses,
Mm-hmm.
my courses, on like a portal. Like Kajabi, it's a bit more. The one I'm using now, it's New Zenler, but I have everything like payment system and all that in WordPress.
Yeah.
But then my problem is like the hosting and the portal for access. And if I'm putting all the videos, even if I have the links or something, I think it's going to be very heavy on the WordPress.
Nah, no, it won't. WordPress can handle videos. Again, I've seen a lot of people run courses on WordPress. With that said, there are purpose-built tools for this sort of thing, right? I've worked with all of them. I've used Mighty Network, Teachable, Kajabi, Circle, and so I've never done a custom build on WordPress, but like WordPress it can handle anything. Yeah, I mean, the weird part is all the solutions work. I would say, based on my experience, now obviously I custom built my own website. I have a lot of experience in the education space, and I also have a ton of experience as a CTO, right? I'm not suggesting you can create your own platform and things. There's a lot that goes with it. But Kajabi, in my opinion, is probably the best out-of-the-box tool. It's a bit more expensive, but they have... It's everything you're going to need. It has affiliate links. It's easy to make lead magnets. It's easy to capture contacts, easy to start a podcast, a newsletter. It's very good in a lot of different ways. I've been tweeting with the Kajabi CEO, and they're going to be coming out with a Claude MCP server and a connection soon. So it's not the most agentic friendly today, but if you want to have a course that's live, like Kajabi, it kind of checks all the boxes. The other thing I like about Kajabi, it captures all the contacts in one place. And so the email list, like it's easy to like hit and segment and send emails to a big audience. It's kind of everything you need out of the box. And so...
my problem is the price. So if I'm paying a price point high for something that I'm not using 100% because I'm still, getting people... then that's my biggest question with Kajabi.
Yeah, look, if you're going to do this education thing, take it from somebody who knows it, you got to be marketing. The thing that's going to move the needles in terms of like making this work, I mean, you see how I'm hustling. I'm doing twice a week trainings. I'm doing businesses. We're making organic content. We're doing YouTube. I'm doing everything in my power to bring as many people in as possible. The big leap is not going to be getting it on the internet. The big leap is going to be creating content, attracting people, and getting them to sign up in sales. It's a whole game. And I've been doing it a long time. And so, if your intention is to teach this stuff, one, I encourage you to do it. Two, it's gonna take acute focus on marketing and sales. That's what moves the needle for this thing. It doesn't matter where it's hosted. It can be a Stripe link, but like sales and being very proactive about providing free value up front, building high trust and converting that into paid customers, that's what drives the business, period. There's no way around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wish it wasn't the case. I'm sitting here and I'm like, why the hell would you not do this? But I'm sure every teacher feels that way.
Yeah, no, I think for the Portuguese, what I've noticed is I'm doing workshops for like more, small entrepreneurs or business people, and then I'm trying to convert them on a funnel. But it's been a bit harder because people are not willing to pay. In Portugal, it's not like, in the US, I've seen things like crazy prices. for mentorships, whatever, and people pay for it. But here it's like an effort, just like trying to get people just to sign up. And I'm doing like 40-euro workshop just to get people to know me a bit more.
It's not an easy market. I'm going to acknowledge that, but it is a market. You have to figure out what the price point that's appropriate for your audience is, right? And you're going to have to make it so that it's a no-brainer to sign up. Okay. Once you start making your first sales, have you made a sale on a course before?
What do you mean, like
Online course?
Digital course?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have? Okay. How many sales do you have so far?
Not from this one because I don't have anything recorded, so it's all like live sessions.
Okay. So here's what I would do. Okay. Do what works. So it sounds like your live sessions are working. At the end of the live session, pitch them on a product that is roughly 5 to 8 times the price of what you're charging for the workshops. Okay. So if you're charging 40, I would just multiply it by, and probably you're in the 297 range. Have that as an upsell at the end of the workshop, right? And make it a very obvious next step that they can take. Okay? And the key skill is going to be, there's a lot of things that go with it, but the pitch. I did a terrible job pitching. I actually have to work on my pitch, okay? A lot, right? You see the value because you're in the space and everything, but like, if you want to make a really good pitch, I'll give you the playbook that I need to apply myself. I just learned this yesterday because this is an area of focus for me. Take every word that you're going to use in the pitch, put it onto slides, which means if it's 100 slides, walking them through all the reasons to join, put it on the slides and let them visually see it and say it out loud and just improve that deck. Okay? So what you need to do is the problem is right now people don't know the next step, and now you have to create that next step for the people who want to go deeper. That's going to be your goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, doing workshops at 40 euros, it's not gonna move,
Trust me, I know. Right? Like, I know. I did 8 of them last month. Yeah.
But I actually thought you had a good pipeline. That's why I was thinking, because you are doing workshops at 88, so it's not like because of that, but then you have these.
Yeah.
And then I think it's very smart, because if you put it like when you said 900, I was like, I don't know about this price, but when you say half, it's easy to convince people, because then you say, okay, by this price point, for me, I'm Portuguese, I work in the Portuguese market, so for me it's something easier than the 900.
Yeah.
In the US, the 900 is the obvious thing.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is price anchoring. So normally what you want to do is give them a one-time price at the end of the workshop. So you want to anchor it higher. So you might be like, it's $497, but because you attended today and you're the first people, you get an early bird at $297, whatever. Right? And so you basically give them a one-time coupon code that can expire. By the way, if you really want to go deep on building out an offer that's irresistible, the book I recommend is $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi.
Oh, I have that. I've seen that. Yeah.
There are certain there's certain books you lick, some you chew, and some you swallow. This is a swallow book. I have taught Alex Hormozi's frameworks in depth in trainings. I apply them. I follow him religiously. In fact, that tip I just gave you about the pitch and putting every word on the slide, that came from him. Swallow his books. And I promise you, if you like, and by the way, don't be afraid to write in it, right? Read it, reread it, and apply it. And by the end of it, you will have an irresistible offer.
Mm-hmm. I actually got it on like digital like Kindle.
Somebody locally has the physical copy. With these sort of books, you should probably buy it in all formats. I would get the digital, I would get the physical, and I would also get the audiobook and listen to the audiobook while you read it. And this is like, if you're going on a journey of starting, especially an education business, start with $100 million offers, do it, actually do it. Then go to $100 million leads, that's the second edition. And by the end of that, you're going to have all the context you need to be successful. Yeah. And obviously, like, I know this game inside and out. I was a business coach for course founders. So you're teaching AI in the country I live in. So you're kind of in the best spot you possibly could be. I have the most context for what you are doing. Okay.
Yeah. But I always feel, because I also lived in the US, so I think maybe this is a belief system that I have. I think in Portugal, it's always much harder. Everything is much harder if you want to find something, if you want to do something. So, and I don't know if foreigners, when they come here, they find it easier. Like for locals, like I am, and have lived abroad, in the US, everything seems easier to me than here.
Let me ask you a question. By the way, I'm not disagreeing with you. Okay, not disagreeing with you. Does that belief serve you?
No.
And drop it. Do it anyway. The truth is, there's no alternative in 2026 to learning AI. And if you're the one who wants to bring it to the Portuguese market, do it fully and fucking completely. And don't let anybody stop you from doing it. Figure it out.
Because I know some people are doing, but I've seen people doing things that are so, basic, and they are selling things. And I'm like, how is that even possible? They don't know what they're talking about. But, it's in Portuguese, and it's, just going for it, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to take light school and localize it, let's talk. Like, you want to, like, one, you have your affiliate codes, you make $100 a pop. Two, if you wanted to actually like spin up a Portuguese group and do it under the brand and take that approach with all my marketing power and everything that I know, and you really feel called to do this at a very big level, like, I'm here and I'm open to collaborating. I am. It's totally in the realm of possibility, because I think this is going to be the most important thing. But also, like, don't be afraid to do it yourself. I encourage it, genuinely. Like, fucking take everything we are doing and bring it to Portugal, because we have to be on the bleeding edge. This country has to get skilled up, and this is the way to do it. You know it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I was actually, because you were talking about space, so I was talking with some people because you want a space to rent out, right? Because I have this huge network on Portuguese, business people, and there's a lot of people like from real estates and people that are renting spaces out.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out in Alvalade area, but it's not to buy, it's to rent, right?
Yeah, I want to rent. I'm not in a position today to be buying a space for this business. And what I'm looking for is a room with natural light that is semi-central, right? So people don't have to go, because you know how Lisbon is. Everyone's like, I'm not going to Marville. I'm like, it's 20 minutes. They're like, fuck that. And I'm like, okay, fine. Natural light, and can house anywhere between 20 to 50 people sitting at desks with chairs. Ideally, they have the desks and the chairs, or the tables and the chairs, but if it's the right space, we will invest.
But this is not like a partnership. This is a place just for yourself.
I can do partnership. I'm very flexible. It's basically like, I want to have a hub that you guys can come to, that two, I can teach. We can run weekends, and ideally, I can also set up a live stream studio. But that last part is not a requirement. I would just say a space with natural light, 20 to 50 people. If it's on a like case by case basis, that's cool. If it's permanent, great. Like I can rent it out. I'm open to anything. I just Wheelhouse is great, but it's not purpose built for this, and doesn't have any natural light. And when you have people doing really hard things without natural light, there's something that happens, and they get very tired. Yeah. So.
I was wondering, just because I don't know if you know this, but the town hall or the mayor office, it's the area that I live, which is at the campus.
Yeah.
So they have all these really, really cool places.
Yeah.
I mean, they have been renting out to associations and stuff like that, but it's by the campus, so it's like 5 minutes from the subway and from the train. And the rooms are amazing because it's like stores, but like front stores, like first. The thing is, I need to go to the mayor, like place because they used to do that by public contests,
Yeah.
and they have a couple of places like that. This location is really really cool, and I wanted to go there because I know a girl just like left the lease, and it was like 900 a month.
That's
And
great.
The place was amazing, but she rented it out for somebody else. But that place might be interesting.
If you have any there's a big bumblebee that just ran into my window. I've never seen that before. Maybe it's a sign. But if
Or is it outside?
I'm on the fourth floor, like I'm high. I've never seen a bee do that. It's crazy. I've never seen that. Anyway, if you have any leads, I would be so appreciative. And I want to have a space that we can do the trainings, and I also want to create a space that the builders, all these incredible minds, you haven't met them in real life. We can come together. We can do things. I also have the ambition to do an AI and art weekend. I want to take what we teach, pair it with artists, with like people who know how to use these tools, and see what magic we can create. So all of this is on the roadmap, and if we have a permanent space, it would make my life, or even semi-permanent, where I know I can go there, use it on the weekdays, sometimes use it on the weekends. I have access. It would make my life way easier. But the criteria is like good lighting, fits 20 to 50 people in one room, projector I can do a projector, and then the last one is good internet. It has to have good internet because you know what we teach. So yeah, Habibi, I have to run. Thank you so much. Welcome to Light School. I'm excited to see where this goes. We'll see you very soon. All right.
And I'll text you when I know something.
Thank you. Bye.